Hello everyone and welcome. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation with the title Wastewater Story. This is the first of 15 slides, and I'll be guiding you through an overview of wastewater management, its importance, and innovative solutions. We'll cover key concepts, challenges, and future opportunities. So let's get started and explore this fascinating topic together. Let's take a quick look at the contents of today's presentation. We'll start with water, our lifeline, which highlights how essential water is to our daily lives. Then, we'll move on to understanding what is sewage, because knowing what wastewater is helps us appreciate the importance of proper treatment. Next, we'll explore how water freshens up an eventful journey, emphasizing its role in travel and daily activities. We'll also learn about the wastewater treatment plant, which is the heart of cleaning our water before it's reused or released back into the environment. From there, we'll see how grit and sand removal works through specialized tanks, and then look at water clarifiers that help make water clearer and safer. We'll also discuss the aerator, an essential device that helps in the oxygenation process during treatment. Moving forward, we'll connect the treatment process to health by understanding sanitation and disease, showing how proper sanitation prevents illness. We'll also examine sanitation at public places to see how public hygiene is maintained. Finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion, followed by a thank you, and an interactive quiz to reinforce what we've learned. Throughout the presentation, I want you to see how all these points come together to highlight the importance of effective wastewater treatment for health, environment, and our everyday lives. Water is truly our lifeline. It's a basic necessity that every human being needs to survive. Unfortunately, it's not available to everyone around the world, and that's a serious issue. That's why we celebrate World Water Day on March 22nd to raise awareness about water-related challenges. Between 2005 and 2015, we also had the International Decade for Action, called Water for Life, which aimed to address water pollution and the scarcity of clean, drinkable water. These issues threaten human dignity and health. Now, when we talk about cleaning water, we're referring to the process of removing pollutants so that water can be safely returned to the environment or reused. This process is known as wastewater treatment or sewage treatment. It involves several stages, each designed to ensure the water is cleaned effectively. Understanding these stages is important because it highlights how crucial proper water management is to our overall well-being and environmental sustainability. As we move forward, let's explore how these treatment processes work and why they're vital for protecting our water resources and, ultimately, our future. Let's talk about what sewage actually is. Sewage is essentially wastewater that comes from various sources like homes, industries, hospitals, offices, and other places where people work and live. It's not just dirty water from sinks or toilets, though that's part of it. It also includes rainwater that runs down streets during storms or heavy rains. This runoff water from roads and rooftops often carries harmful substances along with it. The key thing to remember is that sewage is a liquid waste, mostly made up of water, but it also contains dissolved and suspended impurities. Understanding what sewage is helps us grasp why proper treatment is so vital for public health and the environment, which ties directly into our overall goal of managing wastewater responsibly. Water plays a really important role in keeping our environment clean and healthy during our journey through the sewerage system. In most buildings, whether it's a home or a public space, there are usually two sets of pipes, one bringing in clean water and another carrying away wastewater. If we could see beneath the ground, we'd notice a complex network of pipes, some big, some small, called sewers. This network forms what we call the sewerage system, which acts like a transportation highway for sewage. It moves waste from where it's produced all the way to the treatment plant. Now, along this network, you'll find manholes roughly every 50 to 60 meters. These are crucial access points. They connect different sewer lines and are placed where the sewer changes direction or at junctions. Understanding this system highlights how water management is vital for public health and environmental protection, fitting into the overall theme of sustainable water use and sanitation. Now, let's talk about the first step in wastewater treatment, which is passing the water through bar screens. Essentially, this process helps us remove large objects that might be present in the wastewater, such as rags, sticks, cans, plastic packets, and napkins. By doing this early on, we prevent these bigger items from causing damage or clogging the subsequent treatment equipment. It's a crucial initial step because it sets the stage for more detailed physical, chemical, and biological treatments that follow. This step highlights how important it is to physically remove the obvious contaminants right at the start, making the entire treatment process more efficient and effective. Now, let's move on to the next step in the process, the grit and sand removal tank. After the initial treatment, the water flows into this tank. The main goal here is to remove the heavier particles like grit, sand, and small pebbles. To do that, we slow down the flow of water, giving these particles a chance to settle at the bottom. This step is crucial because it prevents abrasion and damage to subsequent equipment, and it helps keep the entire system running smoothly. So, by decreasing the flow speed, we're effectively separating out the heavier solids, which is an important part of ensuring cleaner water moving forward in the treatment process. Now, let's move on to step 3 in the water clarification process. At this stage, the water is allowed to settle in a large tank that's intentionally sloped towards the center. This design helps solids naturally settle at the bottom. These solids, which include feces and other heavier particles, form what we call sludge. To remove this sludge, a scraper mechanism is used, which continuously collects it from the bottom of the tank. On the surface, there are also lighter, floatable solids like oil and grease. These are removed with a device called a skimmer. Once this process is complete, the water that remains, now much clearer, is known as clarified water. The sludge collected at the bottom is then transferred to a separate tank, where it undergoes decomposition by anaerobic bacteria. These are bacteria that work without oxygen. During this process, biogas is produced, which can be quite valuable. It can be used directly as fuel or even harnessed to generate electricity, making the entire process more sustainable. This step is crucial because it ensures that the water is cleaned effectively before moving on to further treatment or reuse, tying into our overall goal of sustainable water management. Now, let's talk about the aeration step, which is a crucial part of the treatment process. Here, air is pumped into the clarified water to promote the growth of aerobic bacteria. These bacteria are essential because they break down remaining waste materials like human waste, food residues, and soaps that haven't been removed earlier. After several hours, these microbes form what we call activated sludge, which settles at the bottom of the tank. The clean water then is removed from the top. Interestingly, the activated sludge is about 97% water, so it needs to be dried out. This is typically done using sand drying beds or specialized machines. The dried sludge isn't wasted. Instead, it's repurposed as manure, returning valuable organic matter and nutrients back to the soil. This step beautifully illustrates how we can turn waste into a resource, tying into the overall theme of sustainable water treatment. Now, let's talk about the treated water. Once water has gone through the treatment process, it typically has very low levels of organic material and suspended matter. This means it's quite clean compared to its original state. When we discharge this treated water, it usually goes into the sea, a river, or even into the ground. The environment itself helps to clean it up further through natural processes. Interestingly, in many cases, this water is clean enough that we don't need to add disinfectants like chlorine or ozone before releasing it into the distribution system. This highlights how effective treatment and natural processes work together to protect our water sources and ensure safe water for the environment and, ultimately, for us. Let's talk about sanitation and disease. Poor sanitation and contaminated drinking water are major causes of many illnesses. When human excreta are not treated properly, they become a serious health hazard. This untreated waste can pollute water sources and soil, leading to waterborne and other related diseases. To prevent these issues, it's crucial to improve sanitation practices. One effective approach is using low-cost on-site sewage disposal systems. These include septic tanks, chemical toilets, and composting pits, which are all good options for managing sewage safely. By implementing these systems, we can significantly reduce the risk of disease caused by poor sanitation, which ties back to our overall goal of promoting healthier and safer communities. Sanitation at public places is a crucial aspect of maintaining public health. In our country, fairs are organized quite frequently, bringing together a large number of people. Similarly, places like bus depots and airports are also very busy hubs with constant activity. These places generate a significant amount of waste, which, if not disposed of properly, can lead to serious health problems, including the outbreak of epidemics. That's why it's important for us to contribute to keeping these public spaces clean and hygienic. Unfortunately, despite the efforts, the standards set by the government are often not fully maintained. This gap can pose risks to everyone's health, especially in crowded areas. So, as responsible citizens, we should be proactive in supporting sanitation efforts at these public places. By doing so, we help prevent the spread of diseases and create a safer environment for all. It's a shared responsibility that directly ties into our overall goal of promoting health and well-being in our community. Now, let's talk about some better housekeeping practices that can really make a difference. First, when it comes to cooking oil and fats, it's important to remember that they shouldn't be poured down the drain. These substances can cool and harden inside the pipes, leading to blockages that are tough to clear. Instead, it's best to throw them in the dustbin. Next, we have chemicals like paints, solvents, and motor oil. These are harmful because they can kill the beneficial organisms that help purify water in our environment. So, it's much better not to dispose of chemicals down the drain. Instead, follow proper disposal procedures for hazardous waste. And finally, solid waste such as used tea leaves, leftover food, cotton, or other solid debris should also go into the dustbin. These materials can clog the drains and prevent the free flow of water. When drains are blocked, oxygen flow is hampered, which slows down the natural degradation process and can lead to more pollution. So, in summary, proper waste disposal, avoiding pouring fats, chemicals, and solid waste down the drain, is a simple but crucial step toward better housekeeping and protecting our water systems. Now, let's see how much you've learned with this quick quiz. First question: cleaning of water is a process of removing what? That's right, impurities and contaminants to make water safe for use. Next, why are oils and fats not supposed to be released into drains? Because they tend to stick and create blockages, which can cause serious problems in our drainage system. Moving on, what do we call the wastewater removed by houses? It's commonly known as sewage or household wastewater. Now, which two chemicals are used to disinfect water? Typically, chlorine and ozone are the main disinfectants that kill harmful germs and keep our water safe. Another important point: what is used as manure? Organic waste like composted kitchen scraps and plant matter are used to enrich soil, supporting healthy plant growth. And what is a pipe carrying sewage called? It's known as a sewer pipe or sewer line. Finally, by what do drains usually get blocked? Often, it's due to the buildup of grease, hair, or debris that accumulates over time, causing clogging. This quiz ties back to our main theme: understanding how water is cleaned and how to prevent pollution and blockage, ensuring a healthier environment for everyone. As we come to the conclusion, I want to remind everyone of a powerful quote from Mahatma Gandhi: "No one need wait for anyone else to adopt a humane and enlightened course of action." This really underscores the idea that change starts with us. We don't have to wait for others to act first. We can take the initiative ourselves. Throughout this presentation, we've seen how individual actions can collectively make a big impact on our environment. It's a shared responsibility. Each of us has a role to play in keeping our surroundings clean and sustainable. So I encourage all of us to start practicing these habits today. Small steps, like reducing waste, recycling, or simply being more mindful of our consumption, can lead to meaningful change. Remember, making a difference begins with each one of us, and together we can create a more humane and enlightened world.